Welcome back to Kingdom Business. We're talking with Dr. Eve Gadzikwa. And just before the break, she was telling us about how she successfully chaired the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange. Now you also mentioned that you were chairing the Institute of Directors. Now that has a lot to do with governance. How important is it on a corporate level to have governance in the structures?
Yes, thanks, Kumburai. I've been privileged as well to chair the Institute of Directors of Zimbabwe, which is an organization whose mandate is to promote, excellence in terms of the way companies should be governed. Mm-hmm. And this has been an interesting journey in the sense that, where we are at in Zimbabwe, we need to go back to the basics.
Okay.
In other words, I'm sure you know that there's been a lot of issues around company closures, collapses, banks, misgovernance, and also challenges in respect of how state-owned enterprises and parastatals are being run.
True.
Inefficiencies in the system. And so the opportunity to serve as chairperson of the Institute of Directors was really, really interesting in the sense that, firstly, I learned how important it is for organizations to be governed correctly if they have to be sustainable. Because a number of organizations are not sustainable because of the way they are being run.
All right, let's talk about that, because some of the viewers listening are aspiring business people. Now, what from that lesson, governance, what do you think an emerging business should have to run for the future, a going concern?
Okay. The role of the board and the role of directors is central to good corporate governance.
Okay.
I think gone are the days, Kumbrai, when you could just run your business how you liked, put your money wherever you want to, employ your relatives, put your hand into the cookie jar.
Hey, the relatives need some jobs, eh?
Exactly. The relatives need some jobs. And you also need some cash. But I think if you have to be honest, look at the companies that have gone down.
True.
Sometimes it's also about insider trading.
Yes. Loans. Insider
loans, related party transactions.
True.
These are the kind of ills that have actually been responsible for the company collapses. And especially when you look at organizations that have, I would say, an economic impact. The banks, the insurance firms, organizations that are handling cash, listed companies. I think the stakes are very high because for an investor to be investing money on the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange or any other exchange for that matter, they want to be assured that they'll get a return on investment. Yeah. So, the rules of the game are very clear. Okay. For instance, during the time I've been ZSE chairperson, one of the things that I was mandated to do is to come up with new listing rules. This was very critical because we needed to realign the rules of the game, how to trade in the new environment. Yes. And then this is where corporate governance comes in, because if your company is listed on any exchange, on any bourse, what it essentially means is that your disclosure requirements go up.
Yes.
Because your investors want to know that their monies are safe. Yeah. And they're not only safe, but they'll get a return on their investment.
True.
So the agency problem is taken care of by corporate governance. The agency problem is who is handling our cash.
Exactly. Who is handling shareholders' monies?
Correct.
Is there value being created?
Is there value being created?
By the agent. So.
And what is critical to this discussion, Kumburai, is the issue of ensuring that at every stage, not only at the management level, at the committee level, at the board level, that everyone is practicing the principles of good corporate governance. Here comes the issue of principles again. You can't run away from it because it's expected that if someone is handling your cash, the individual must meet minimum requirements of credibility. So the issue of credibility, of skills, of diversity, all these are central to the issue of corporate governance.
So you're saying that even if I have a small business, my plan is to grow it into something big.
Correct.
Something phenomenal. But I need to start at that micro level to have sound procedures, sound business practices. Money for orders should be money for orders, not money for my pizza.
People think that corporate governance is only for small companies. Corporate governance must be practiced at a church, at an SME level, at a medium-sized company, at a large corporate level. That is the only way that you can sustain your business into the future and make it grow. Because sustainability of an entity really rests on the ability of that company to be there tomorrow.
Yes.
And to safeguard the assets of that company.
Yeah. I like what you're saying, the ability to be there tomorrow. And we've seen in some countries, and even here, businesses that have been there for centuries. And it would be good to see a lot of our small businesses surviving and even growing and lasting many, many years.
Yeah, correct. Because, I think Kumbarai, that normally when you run a family business, you don't think that it's necessary for you to put structures. You just feel that, it's my family business. Myself and my wife and my children are running this business. But I think you'll notice that most of those type of businesses don't last. So if you want your business to, last into perpetuity, you have to have structures. And the structures are good corporate governance, standards, making sure that you have some sort of a system to safeguard those assets. And not only to safeguard, but to grow them. And by the way, our investors are looking at Zimbabwe as a potential market to invest their money. But what they want to see is security of that, that they can invest in this country, their monies are safe, and they'll be able to, repatriate their profits once those profits are due.
Wow, very, very insightful indeed. Now, we see a lot of wisdom. We've heard a lot of wisdom from you. What on earth did you study?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Sometimes I also ask myself the same question. Kumbarai, I started off my journey as a medical lab scientist. Okay.
Wow.
I'm a medical lab scientist. So I spent, the first part of my working career as a medical lab scientist, working for the private sector and also for the public sector.
It explains the standards.
It explains the standards and also the technical side.
Yes.
But then I'm a people's person. I love people. I love working with the public. So I then went and did some marketing. So I've got a qualification in marketing.
Well done.
And then after that, I wanted to go further. I really wanted to understand business. So I studied for a master. I've got a master's in business administration. And this is when my career actually took off after that, because I then got a full appreciation, understanding. So I'm very solid on the technical side. I run a technical organization right now, but I also have a strong bias towards business.
Which is good. So I'm now working in industry and commerce, and I feel very comfortable even working on boards because of my corporate governance background as well. Well, that's quite interesting. Last question for you. How important is family to your success?
Wow, that's a big one. Family is very important because I don't think I would be where I am today if my family was not there. My husband is very supportive. He's a businessman in his own right, successful businessman for that. He understands that I'm very ambitious. I think that when men see their women going up the ladder, sometimes it can be scary for them.
Yeah.
But he's been very, very supportive, my husband. And also my children. As I said, I've got 2 children. Very supportive. They understand. I wish I could spend more time with them. One of the things I think you realize that when you are in these, positions of high authority, the issue of balance becomes even more important.
Yes.
So spending time with the children every day is important. Doing homework, you know, having at least a meal a day together means a lot to me. And also, of course, going to church on Sunday. But I must say, my husband doesn't go to church. I wish he would. He plays golf on Sunday. But he's a Christian nonetheless.
I'm sure he'll come around.
Yeah, he'll come around. He's a Christian nonetheless.
Yeah.
And a God-fearing man. He loves his family. We do spend a lot of time together after hours and also on weekends. And, you know, we do family holidays.
Yes.
The last holiday we did was to Zanzibar. We had a lot of fun. Wonderful place. Yeah, so family, in a nutshell, is important to me. I enjoy those moments where I can just unwind and just be myself and hang out with the family.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Well, Dr. Eve Gadzikwa, it's been a pleasure. Learned so much. And you know, we wish you all the best on the African continent as you implement those standards in those 54 countries.
Thank you so much, Kumbrai, for having me.
Well, that's it for Kingdom Business for this week. Join us again on our next edition next week. I'm Kumbirai Nungo signing off for now.